Hey everybody, we are here. It's Nize What? It's your host Darrell, and I'm here with Trey Lover. I'm gonna share this intro real quick because it's gonna tie everything together with what we're talking about.
For the sickle cell community. So look, you guys gotta stay in shape. I know we have limitations sometimes, we can't do everything that we want to do, but we at least have to try to remember to make sure we stay in some kind of shape. The best thing about being in shape is the best thing to fight getting sick all the time. Because it's been shown over and over that people who exercise more get sick less. Also eat healthy. These two go together. So for men's health, and honestly this is for everyone's health, take care of your health, please.
Follow Trey Lover on IG at Love and Fashion Apparel. Click the link in his bio to check out his merchandise. 5% of the profits go to sickle cell awareness. Yes, today we are talking about not only sickle cell, but we're actually here to feature an amazing person, an amazing man, Trey Lover from Love and Fashion Apparel. He's an advocate who builds awareness and fights for change in the sickle cell community by selling merchandise and other advocacy methods. He is an intelligent, godly man who cares about justice, revolution, and evolution for the sickle cell community. And I'm grateful to have him here live with us, all the way from New York. Okay.
New York in the building.
Jeez. And I just want to say, disclaimer, I am not a doctor, I am not a scientist. I don't believe, I'll let Trey say that, but I always got to say this disclaimer, especially when I do lives for sickle cell. Please always seek advice from your professional healthcare providers at all time, including your mental health care providers at all time. And viewer discretion is advised, as this platform supports free thought and open dialogues, and in no way is their intent to influence others in a negative way. So I just wanted to say that. And this live will be shared. It is one of the first of its kind. So I'm very excited for this segment again with the sickle cell community. And I just wanted to introduce Trey Lover again. Welcome, Trey. How are you doing?
Oh man, I am great. I am great. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I was tired last week, but I'm feeling a little bit better this week. I'm just here to really share some more stuff about sickle cell. Like, I also have sickle cell, so anyone again watching or will watch later, I personally have type SC, so that's why I wanted to bring this here. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling excited about this conversation and the interview with you. I think we can just get into it, and I can ask some questions, if you want to share some stuff about your experience. For example, growing up as a child, how was it growing up as a child compared to today?
All right. Well, first of all, thank you for having me here. This is amazing. And actually that was a dope entrance video. I've been interviewed a couple of times, but I've never had a video put together like that. That was dope. Thank you for creating that. I appreciate you. And thank you for bringing this platform here. It's good that we talk about sickle cell more. And growing up to now, I feel as a young child, I made a lot of mistakes in like diet and stuff like that. And my family didn't know about diet. So I got sick a lot more, didn't know how to take care of myself. And then being in the hospital, the care was a lot friendlier. They were a lot had more humanity in taking care of a child. They would give me games and food and things to do. So it's a lot better. As an adult, now thank God I know about taking care of my health more. So I get sick less by eating healthier, exercising. But then going into the hospital, it's like a battle. It's like I have to prove that I am who I am. I have to prove that I'm not a liar. I have to prove that I'm not what you think I am. I have to prove this and prove this before I can get some kind of care. And it's like, why am I going through a journey just to get some kind of help? So it's like, it's a flip side on both directions.
Wow, okay. Yeah, I can resonate with that. As a child, it is a bit different in the pediatric floor and how they do things for us compared to now, and us having to deal with our sickle cell and being an advocate at the same time. It's like a very delicate balance, you know? So, I hear that. I hear that. Honestly, man, I resonate. It's very interesting for us to do interview when we both can resonate. Of course, our stories are totally different, and there is no comparison. But the connection of our experience with sickle cell is something that a lot of us will probably resonate with in from time to time. So I wanted to ask you, based on everything that you've experienced up until now, the ups and downs, the hurdles, what are ways that you help yourself balance mind and body and spirit and soul?
Oh, you know what? I think that's fantastic. I don't think enough people take time to really like breathe and to like relax and to catch themselves. So one of the things that I like to do is, of course, when weather appropriate, I'll go outside and there's this rock right like in the middle of the park, and I'll sit in the on that rock. And I'll, especially if it's a sunny day, have on no hat, no shirt, no shoes, just sitting there, letting the sun hit you, and just close my eyes and just breathe. Just take some time to just breathe and relax, and to just think clearly, and to just also think about nothing at the same time. So it's like a take some time to just breathe. We go through enough in life and enough obstacles, and sometimes we don't really take those breaths that really count. So just I take a lot of time to breathe, and definitely I take a lot of time to talk to God and thank God, and thank the God in me, thank the God above for all that I've been able to persevere through. Because a lot of people don't realize that we are winners, because every battle we've had to go through, we've overcame them. We still here. So I just thank God for always giving me the strength to persevere and utilizing that to now create a voice to be able to do more.
Mm, that's beautiful, man. That's a balance for sure. Having God by you, within you, surrounding you, especially the type of pain we be going through. Like, it's something you have to have even balance with other people, right? Or patience, I should say.
But even this, that's like it's like empathy, because empathy is a balance. You have to be able to see what they're getting, and weigh your energy with them. So when you don't even have empathy, you don't have that connection with that patient you're dealing with, everything is thrown off balance. When you don't have that balance, that connection, there's going to be a disconnect. You're going to have a disservice. You're going to have something that's not happy, something that's not right. So we have to find a way to find that equity inside these hospitals so we can have more of that.
Yeah, that's that. The fight within us. It's like
Yeah.
we have to like externalize that, of course, with no violence or anything, but through advocacy, through act. I don't want to say activism, but it is kind of like activism. It's just like this type of time we're in. We need a change. Protesting isn't necessarily going to be the focal point because we've done that for so long. So now it's like doing something that I actually want to ask you about, because you told me that you've been studying something like medical law, which I didn't even realize was a thing, like was a category within itself, which makes sense. So what sparked that? Was there a certain last straw, like, nah, okay, I need to get into this type of studies?
All right. So yes, I've been getting into law, not medical law, just law. And I think what you're talking about was the Patient's Bill of Rights. So that's federal law that oversees all the hospitals and all patients' care. And all hospitals are required to give these to patients when they enter into the hospital, so you know your rights. It's a federal document that oversees everything that they do, but most people never take time to read those documents or read many documents in their hand. So as I started studying law and to fight for what we go through, because we can't really find lawyers to take the fight for what we go through. They'll always say this it's going to be a hard case to fight or whatnot. I don't think it's really a hard case to fight. So I've just been studying so I can defend us when we're treated wrongly, like how they had Brittany Hightower out in Texas, or they have so many other patients that go through. So looking at the patient bill of rights, when I'm in the hospital, I talk to doctors in a different way, and I make sure they can comprehend that federal law is higher than their hospital policy. And if you're not supposed to do something and I say, oh, I don't want to work with a certain doctor, I have the right to say so. And anytime they violate that, they violate my rights. So I hold them accountable. So once you start studying your rights, and everybody, please should go really study your patient bill of rights. It's like what, 19 different sections, around 2 pages long. It's not a long read. Read that like once a week for like the next month or two. Just get familiar with it and learn your rights. Just to know when you're in these hospitals, you can speak up a little bit more and defend yourself.
Yes, defending self. I remember a couple of moments where I felt like I was alone in that moment, in the hospital, especially
It,
when you're dealing with being in the hospital, so a lot of the time being on narcotics. So now we're like woozy and high, and then sometimes we have to like still fend for ourselves, or again defend ourselves. And I don't know if this is triggering for you right now, but you did have a viral moment online, where the hospital that you were in was just not of hospitality, period. They they were almost like avoiding having to care for a patient with sickle cell, which is something that a lot of us go through based on ignorance, based on prejudice, based on discrimination. How, if you don't mind sharing, how was that situation? Were they simply just not listening to you? Did they just not know about sickle cell? Is it something that this hospital does a lot, or has no sickle cell protocol? Those type of questions, like how was the circumstance, and was it dealt with, or is it being dealt with now?
so you're talking about my previous hospital stay that was in February, and that was at Kings County Hospital in Brooklyn. And I was at home at first for around about 5 to 6 days, and I just started getting really sick. I was getting nauseous and dizzy and dehydrated. And I go to Kings County because my regular doctor is there, Dr. Mutu. He's a fantastic doctor. He runs a sickle cell clinic that's in Kings County Hospital. So they're aware about the complications of sickle cell. They have an apartment there just for it. Um, but when I went to see him this time, he told me I looked really bad. He told me to go to the emergency room. Went down there, and they had me down there for, I don't know how long I was down there for. I was dehydrated. I was very tired. I wasn't feeling well. There was a lot going on, and then I started having a pain crisis while inside there. The pain started building up. So at first I was okay, but then I had to tell them, "Hey, I feel like a crisis is coming in, and I needed IV fluids." And they just wouldn't get me the IV fluids. I asked them for a vein finder; they wouldn't get me the vein finder. One of the nurses told me that a doctor there, I think a Dr. Saida, had said that somehow had discontinued the looking for the vein finder for me, which made no sense because I'm a patient with sickle cell. They know sometimes we could be hard sticks. So went through that for a while. Eventually, when I got upstairs, the care got better. It was a little issue for a little while with doctors just not doing the right thing, but I ended up having to get like one doctor, Dr. Bona, kicked off my case because he completely violated my rights, switched up my medication during the middle of the night, had me in pain for hours. So I had to get him kicked off the team, and I used the patient bill of rights to kick him off the team. And it was just a crazy situation. And I posted a video online because what we do sometimes in the sickle cell community is like we'll try to connect with other people in the community who know the hospital that we might be at, who might know our personal information, who we just need to get a message out to. And we either send it out in the group chat or in a video somehow so we can let each other know what's going on at that moment, and we can start calling in to start making a change. Because a lot of times now in these hospitals, they don't allow you to have a lot of guests in the hospitals. And no, people have lives, they have jobs, they have family. You can't expect people to always be there. So when we can depend on each other to call in, it makes a big difference. But for some reason, that particular video just took off and it just went viral. Got like I think on my page, it's like at 1 million, almost 200,000 views. But everyone was calling and blowing up the hospital. It was a slight situation. The director of the patient relationships came into the office, came into the room and started talking to me. And we had some dialect. And during that conversation, we decided that once I was feeling better and out of the hospital, that I would return to have a conversation with them where we can talk about expanding the sickle cell clinic and getting more things done for the patients. Because right now the sickle cell clinic is only Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And the last patient has to be in by 1 p.m. so they can be teetered off the medication, the 4 hour to get them off the narcotics. But that's not sufficient because the sickle cell ward, we know we can go into a pain anytime. To be able to have a certain time frame we can get treated in the department as just for us is kind of obscene. So we're looking to get it passed to have it running 24 hours a day for right now, just 5 days a week. They're not offering the weekends yet. So I've been having meetings with them. I actually have an upcoming meeting with them on the 11th, and we're gonna see where that goes. And I'm putting it out there because I want everyone to know that I'm having this meeting with them because I'm gonna follow up with them. I want to see if they're going to do a much better job at fixing a sickle cell clinic because off of that video that was posted, if people just go through the comments and pay attention to how many warriors are inside of those comments talking about the detrimental situations they went through inside of that same hospital, from not being seen in time for long ER visits, for having to ask for medication that is regularly known, and they do have an eye care plan where they know to take care of patients in a certain amount of time frame that they just don't comply with and they just don't do. But then no one is holding them accountable. When you try to report them to different agencies, no one's holding them accountable. So they just keep on getting away with these things. And it's not until someone life has to get lost before it becomes a national story. But we're trying to stop that from happening because they need to be held accountable now. So hopefully the meeting with Kings County goes well and we can start seeing actual changes in these hospitals. And with that, we hope we can start making changes in other hospitals as well too.
That's some powerful stuff because to go through that and then to still take action to get something done, to get some changes done, whether it's within the clinics or again with these warriors that have to, maybe these warriors are in a neighborhood where that's the only hospital that they can commute to, you know, and taking those actions can be a momentum for other hospitals to have better protocols, whether it's the hospital, the clinic, you know, an office, whatever it is. Like, these are the things that I'm grateful to be hearing because here in Canada, um you know, we go through challenges and things like that as well. However, it's just a matter of these conversations to even have the knowledge and not be ignorant, again, like even when it comes to the health bill of rights or the patient's bill of rights, which is something that a lot of us need to know. So that's amazing you have a meeting with them. I definitely would love to just be updated with that again, to learn how to approach certain people of titles that, you know, are saying they're willing to help us, but maybe they're not listening to us because maybe we're not speaking their language, you know. So the ways that you in which you do is something that we can all learn from for sure. um they say that people with sickle cell have like various triggers, and have yours changed from when you were a child up until now, or is it something that you learned to master, hone in on, you know, things like that?
Oh man, they change. They definitely change. And I guess part of that's part of age too. You know, you get older. I'm 38 now, and you know your body works differently, so things just start changing. But yeah, my triggers either just got more of them or got worse. What's mine? Don't do cold. Like if I go inside of a cold pool, I'm probably gonna go to the hospital. Cold weather, probably gonna go to the hospital. Like I avoid cold as much as I can. Too much heat can also get you sick too. You can get dehydrated. I had a friend of mine who was recently in a sauna. She fell asleep in the sauna, got dehydrated. She ended up going to the hospital. So we got to worry about being dehydrated too. Vigorous activities could be sports, could be just regular exercise, could be sexual, can trigger a crisis. So there's so many different triggers, and you just have to know your body and know what's expected and how to treat it as best as you can and learn what works for it. So yeah, there's a lot of triggers, and now that I'm getting older, just had to learn how to like really pay attention to what's going on at what times. It's no, all right. I know if I go to a party and I'm dancing this amount of time, I literally, I don't know if it's for every patient, but for me, I literally get like a spark, like something just snaps in my body, and it like tells me like, yo, Dre, If you keep on going, you risk the chance of going into a crisis. This is your point where you should stop right now. Go sit down. But then sometimes, you just want to probably like, nah, I'm gonna risk it. And then sometimes, yeah, go into a bad crisis, and sometimes you didn't. But for most times, I have that mark where you notice when you have to stop, and that works for everything: sports, sex, work, everything. So once as you get older, you don't have to pay attention to your body. Like when you're going through a crisis, really sit down and think to yourself, like, what was I doing right before the crisis? What was leading up to it? What was the temperature in the room? What was the lighting in the room? What was this? What was the situation? Learn your body, learn how it felt, learn when you ate, learn what you did, so you can start really knowing what to expect during certain times. And I mean, if you don't know your body, then how can you really protect it, right? So just really learn your body. It's the best thing I could say for that.
Very knowledgeable indeed. Just the awareness, the awareness, and the way you explain how to have awareness when it comes to the environment, the weather, the emotions. Um, these are the descriptive ways in which will help us understand our bodies, and that the way you said that is very much so in resonance. Because there's times where I know the weather is this way, but maybe I choose to still go out or something, and it's like, the weather, you don't want to, you don't even feel that weather right now, like, like especially in Canada again, because it's cold, but New York gets cold too.
But
So
the thing
is
is,
it
too, like sometimes you're gonna risk it because you want to enjoy life still. You want to enjoy the feel of the rain. You want to enjoy the feel of the snow. You want to enjoy certain things, and even though these aren't things we might do regularly, sometimes you risk it because you want to enjoy life. You don't want to not play sports again. You don't want to not go dancing again. I mean, some people they might choose to, but for some people, we still want to be out there and take a chance in life.
right? I agree. It's then that's that balance factor. How many times a week would you say that you are physically active? Is it something daily, small daily things, or is it a few times a week that you get physically active?
Um, I think I'm more physically active daily, especially now that I have these different groups that I'm with. It's even more daily. So it's like whenever I can, because I work from home. So like I literally have weights right there. Then I have a gym in my living room. I have a yoga mat. Then like I started a men's support group. It's on Instagram, and we talk about a lot of things. And one of the things a lot of the men are keen on in the group is health as well too. So we were in the group chat. We were doing workouts. One of the brothers, shout out to brother Zarin, he had us in there doing a 2 hour workout routine. We were doing 50 sets and 50 push-ups and 50 this and 50 this. Man, by the time it was finished, all the brothers said, "Yo, we going to bed." We were so tired after that, but it felt good. And no one has to do the full 50 because we know some have limitations, but we just push ourselves. If you can, you can. But we also understand each other where we tell you don't kill yourself. Push yourself, but don't kill yourself. So we in there working out and studying together. And there's another group with the pull up down in California, and they have a host meets the masters. They have a workout session. So it's just a lot of exercise happening right now. And then everywhere I go, I'm doing push-ups for sickle cell. So you got to be ready to drop down and do push-ups. Because if anyone sees me outside and they tell me push-ups for sickle cell, no matter where I'm at, I'm doing push-ups. So we just be going at it and having fun with it.
Oh, I love that. I love those support groups. If there's any links that you would want to share, just send them to me and I'll share them in the caption. Um, Push-ups for sickle cell. That sounds like a fundraiser idea.
Well,
Like a
it's to build awareness because like we don't do the ice bucket challenge. You're not gonna pour no ice water on my head. So we wanted something that can build awareness and give people a range so they can do, even if they could do one or two, whatever they can do. So this encourages people to do something while not being too strenuous in our bodies. Because when I saw the ice bucket challenge, I was like, "That's great, but don't come next to me." he wasn't. We weren't playing that game.
Yeah, that was intense. That was an intense
Yeah,
challenge. That's for a certain group of certain selective people.
that's not for
Even
my people.
African American, Caribbean people would be like, I don't know about that,
Mm.
guys. Be
I
like,
don't like cold water at all. And look, until you dunk me in that cold water and call an ambulance,
right? I had a
we know
moment
what it's like.
that it's super cold outside, and You know, just have you ever had a moment where you chose to have fun and then you're like, ah, I gotta go to the hospital, or you have to like
I do it every year. But I'm just better right now where I can take care of me being home because, man, I like being active. I like going hiking through the woods. I like playing football. I like playing basketball. I like playing frisbee. I like riding my bike. I like being active. And yeah, sometimes I push myself a little bit too hard where I might be down for the next 2 or 3 days. But in that moment, in that single moment in time, I was enjoying life and I was happy. And I don't think enough people stop to enjoy those little moments that we can have. So, yeah, I was down for a while, but I'll never forget that day when I first got my bike over here and I'm riding around the neighborhood and I started going through the woods and I'm just finding different cuts of different places. I had a great time because I enjoy the simple things like that. I'm one of those simple guys. So, yeah, I do things all the time that are strenuous on my body, but I wouldn't stop doing it for anything.
I agree. I agree. It really is that awareness part. So
That, that's like someone telling you to stop dancing.
right? Like dance saved me, to be honest. And that's why even in your intro, when you're saying like, yeah, physical activity is important. Like for even people with sickle cell, even if it's like a walk, you know, like a 10-minute walk or 5-minute walk, or like just putting marching on the spot, you know, like getting the blood pumping, you know, or even dancing in your room, like just some type of vibe or vibration that allows you to move your body and get in tune with it, you know? So super important.
And for the parents too,
Mm.
get your children involved in exercising young because I can't even say I was one of the patients who I started out doing a little bit of a time and I escalated. But when I was young, my uncle, he was this he's one of them fit guys that you ladies would love. Just tall chocolate guy. He was a track star, he was a bodybuilder, he was a basketball player, just in shape, hands, everything. And he used to wake us up 4 o'clock in the morning. We'd out there in the track. So from young, I was doing push-ups. It's before my sickle cell started getting bad when I was still more active. So I'm used to just working out all the time. So for me, doing push-ups is regular. But I think starting from young helped me to now being at my age of 38, where it's still in me to just work out and keep healthy and keep good. Back then I wasn't eating healthy, but once you start really exercising and really getting into it, that mindset of being healthy is always there. So you start just eating healthy, doing better too. So parents, get your children into exercising from a young age. Let's get them fit from young so they don't have to be sick as often.
Yes. That's important, man. Make it cool to be physically active, you know? Do you when you were young, was it a certain time, like age, that you got the diagnosis of for sickle cell, or did you know when you were a baby?
From a barn back home in Guyana, I was diagnosed with sickle cell. My all my siblings on my mother's side, we all had it from barn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. Yeah.
So
Mine was at 4. After
yeah,
4 hit, it was like I had my first, like, I guess, crisis or attack.
yeah.
Yeah, it got a little crazy after that. But I wanted to ask you something in regards to the media and broadcasting and what you think about um, shows like Supercell. I don't know if you've watched that, but what do you think about that and other shows or medias that portray sickle cell? Do you think there should be more of it, more awareness in fictitious shows or things like that, or should we separate the lines and not really go into that?
We need to dig deeper and go harder and keep on going further. It's amazing. I'm seeing shows like Supercell, which I finally watched it like 2 months ago, and I'm only mad there's not more episodes out right now. So I'm waiting for that. And Music Brings Life. They did a show called Student Star Heroes. It's a fantastic rendition of what people with six are going to starting Jordana White. And there's more and more shows. And I watched a movie with Liam Neeson when he was taking care of a young African American kid, and they were talking about sickle cell. I'm hearing it in more movies. It was in Transformers. The kid had sickle cell, so I'm seeing it pop up a lot more, and more people are starting to have conversations, becoming more aware. Because just like with cancer, the more they were spreading awareness for it, more people spoke about it, the more funds they're able to raise for it, the more attention they can bring to it. So we can get more people putting out more documentaries and more things that feature sickle cell to build that awareness. This is a world pandemic. This affects the largest populations in the world. In America alone, they say it's over 100,000. I say it's way higher than that because that number was calculated how many years ago. But there's such a large population of people that has this disease. And yet still it's not talked about enough that still there's so many people that don't know about it. And I was surprised myself where I go in the street and I hand out flyers for an event that I do called These Cells Ain't Loyal. And there were so many people who didn't know about sickle cell or sickle cell awareness month or anything about sickle cell. And some of them even told me their entire family had sickle cell, but they knew nothing about it. They weren't even seeing a specialist. They didn't even know they had specialists for sickle cell. So yes, the awareness needs to continue so people can start knowing what can they do and how can to get tested, to know their status, to know what they can do when it comes to having children and work and stuff like that, because people have also passed away from not knowing that they have sickle cell and were doing too many sports or activities, and they got sick and they passed away, and a lot can happen. So building awareness for sickle cell is of the utterly importance. We have to really dig more into that. So I'm happy this stuff going out there finally about sickle cell.
Yeah, that's an amazing response. I agree. I think it's good to have awareness. Sometimes there's been certain moments where it's been depicted or portrayed in a very ignorant way, but then there's other moments that it's showing the real deal of it, and either way I think it creates an open dialogue, like for more conversations about what we go through and how things are, how it really is for us, um is there anything that you want to share, just again with the sickle cell community, in regards to resilience, even things that have to do with keeping your mind on track and not really letting worry feed you, like, is there any inspirational things that you've learned along the years that could help us remind us that we're resilient and strong?
Oh man, I mean, they said always go with your first, and the first thing that comes to my mind when you ask that question stems from the story of my past. When in my I lived in the streets for a long time. I lived in the parks, and I slept on benches. I slept in staircases. I was in and out of shelters for like 5 years of my life, and it was a hard time that I was going through. And it's really to just start being really down at those times, dealing with that while dealing with sickle cell and everything else, and just having nothing was a lot. And I don't know what it is, but one day I was just walking down the street and I was feeling bad, and I just started talking to God. And I really had to talk with God. Like people be joking when they talk with say they talk God, but I really talk with God. Like I'll say something, then I'll wait for an answer, and I'll be saying what I felt, what sets me, and I'll just go back and forth. And at the end of the conversation, I made a promise to God where I said that, all right, fine. Every time I said one thing negative, I had to say three things positive. And I started doing that more and more because I realized that we're gonna find whatever we're looking for in life. And if you're always looking for negativity, you're gonna find it. So I didn't want to look for negativity. I wanted to start being happy because I was so tired of being down. I was so tired of being miserable from being on the streets, and I knew I deserved better. I knew I wanted better. So I had to know I had to first started seeing better. So I started seeing, I had to start practicing that. And the next morning when I woke up in the shelter, I remembered my promise to God that night, and the first thing I said is, you know what? I was upset. I woke up in the shelter, and I didn't, and I wasn't in a home. But I was like, you know what? I thank God I'm in a shelter. I thank God I'm in a bed. I thank God I have a shower. I said three positive things, and since then I've been doing that my entire life. I've learned to see the world in a much better place, and it has taken so much stress off of my heart, and that's a big exacerbator for sickle cell, and not having that peace and me being able to just thank God and seeing the positive in life no matter what we're going through. It's been one of the best things for me. I don't know how much time I have, but Fab, I'm gonna say one more story. Remember this time I was in the hospital and the doctor walked in and he heard me thanking God. And he asked me, why am I thanking God for? I'm in the hospital. And I just looked at him and I started laughing, like, what do you mean, why am I thanking God? I'm in the hospital. I said, Doc, I'm in the hospital. He's like, yeah, why are you thanking God for that? I said, Doc, at that time my leg was in pain. So I said, Doc, don't you know my legs is in pain right now? He said, yes, why are you thanking God for that? I said, because there's people that don't have legs for their legs to be in pain. Like, I got legs to be in pain. And I was like, yo, Doc, do you know that in some countries they don't have people that can go into a hospital and get help? I'm in a hospital right now talking to you, getting aid. Like, I'm pretty okay. And like that, you know, there's people who woke up, who didn't wake up this morning, or they're not in the right state of mind to know what's going on. But I can clearly have a conversation with you. I'm cognitive. No matter what I was going through, I started seeing things such a positive light that people see me now just be walking around smiling. But it's more peaceful. So just find a way to find peace. That's something that worked for me. And whatever you can do to find your peace, but just find the peace because life is a lot happier than what it is. Just it all depends on what you're looking for.
Wow, life is a lot happier than. Wow, you're very inspirational. Do you do like motivational speeches or seminars? Because everything's in resonance, like with what you said. It's just it's one of those things I think a lot of people with sickle cell or even chronic pain need to remember. And I really appreciate you being here with me right now with this interview because it's a new thing for me too. And I'm starting to get out of my comfort zone. And, I know a lot of people with sickle cell say sometimes they're more reserved because maybe people might not understand or, things like that. But everything you said is very inspirational. Like I'm a run it back and watch it and really take it in, like for my own self as well. And I appreciate yeah, just this moment with this conversation. Is there any dishes or meals that are of um like healthy that are enjoyable that you want to share quickly with the just with the live?
Well, it depends on your level of healthy. I do everything home cooked, so I've been cooking a whole lot more. And I get like a wheat pasta, and I learned how to make this fettuccine alfredo, but without any dairy, so it's dairy free. I made this wheat pasta with dairy free fettuccine alfredo. And I might do like a baked chicken or a steak with that, and I do that with a smoothie, and it tastes amazing, you guys. So and it's an easy dish to make. Not doesn't take a lot of ingredients, not a lot of time. Nice and healthy, lots of protein. So that's my dish I love to go to.
Sounds good. That sounds good. Well, we're here and I think this was a really great live. I would love to, of course, expand upon it, have other people that are from New York that you might know, vice versa. Again, Trade Lover has a platform, Love and a company. Um, Love and Fashion Apparel, and he really does support other people with sickle cell. He has different types of services. Please check out the links in the caption. I've put them there. You can check out that link, and he has all the links there that you can support the merchandise. Because proceeds and profits do go to the sickle cell community. We are also a part of the sickle cell community, so please support him in any ways that you can. Um, and as well, get fit, get active, follow him on Instagram. His link is there as well because he does share a lot about again, physical health. He's always doing things in the community. He's always, doing his thing and sharing his reality with sickle cell as we all do. So yeah, just remember the links are there to follow him. I'm sure that Trey will be back. I would love to have you back again. And thank
Anytime you want. Anytime you want, we here.
I appreciate that. And also, he also has a interview platform called The Voices of Sickle Cell, where he has a few episodes available right now to watch. So please follow his Instagram so that you can again get updated with that. As he did also interview me, which is really great. So please be on the lookout for more, especially later down the year. I'm sure you're going to be evolving and again sharing more of the things that we really need to learn. And If you do need to contact him, can they email you or DM you, especially if they want to anyone wants to be involved with your support groups who might also have sickle cell?
Definitely DM me, check me up on Instagram. It's Love and Fashion Apparel, just like y'all see in my tag name. Everything is spelled correctly. Love and Fashion underscore apparel. We also have our bookings page, and that's Love and Fashion underscore bookings. Hit me up on the other page and let's connect. Proceeds from both pages goes towards sickle cell awareness.
Awesome, awesome. Powerful live, powerful man. Give it up for Trey Lover. Thank you so much for being here on Nize What. This is brought to you by Mooncell Production, and me as well, hosted by Durrell. Thank you so much for this live, and we will see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Peace out and shout out to you, dear Rel. Let's go.